Check this out. 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. This is probably the coolest SUV of 2024. Today we're going to review this thing and take it for a drive. And special thanks goes to our great friends at Markville Ford and Lincoln. They're a Ford and Lincoln dealership located in Ontario, Canada, north of Toronto, not too far. And guess what? This is a demo, which means you can go and check it out in person and maybe take it for a spin. All you have to do is check the link in the description below and you can reach out to the dealership. Got amazing facility on the inside and now they can serve both Lincoln and Ford customers. But for now, let's talk about this beauty. One thing I have to say about this vehicle is how cool it looks. I was staring at the screen while we were filming the rollers and I just thought this is the sexiest SUV that I've seen so far. The design is absolutely stunning. It's got a luxurious feel. It actually stands out on the highway. It's one of those vehicles that you really turn your head and go, my God, that thing is absolutely stunning. Absolutely love what they've done with the wheels, 22-inch wheels that look like turbine. The entire design of this vehicle is absolutely gorgeous. The white finish on the outside just complements the car with a two-tone blacked out glossy finish on top of the roof. Same thing with the trim in the center, including the side mirrors. And then you have the door handles, unique to the Lincoln. I love how they've designed this. It's just a different experience, but it actually works. You press the button and you can open the door. Look at this center light. Beautiful. Lights up the Lincoln badge and then you have the bar and then softly turns off. Love it. Then you have the grille, which really complements the car. A bit large, but I actually think it fits in perfectly with the overall shape of this vehicle. Continuing with that Lincoln theme overall, you've seen this, even the Aviator has similar design in the front. Then you have the grille at the bottom, which also includes the driver assistant package sensor. Then you have the headlights, beautiful shape. I was told at the Lincoln event that this is the idea of a wing. So it kind of like flies into the air. They look like wings. And I love that. It turns on softly and during daytime, they actually kind of look like wings. They do remind me a bit of the Detroit Red Wings, the hockey team. Side profile too, absolutely stunning. I think the door handles being at the top really changed the entire shape on the sides. I love what they've done with it. And continue again with that Lincoln history, because I've seen similar door handles, I believe, in the Lincoln sedan that, of course, is discontinued now. And then you have the Nautilus badge on the side here to let you know that this is a Lincoln Nautilus. I love the little details. The blacked out side skirt at the bottom, again, complementing the entire design of the car. And then moving on to the back side window. I love this. This beautiful frameless design continuing to the third window. And then you have, again, that headlight design in here, which looks like, again, wings. I love the entire flow of this design. Absolutely stunning. Moving on to the back side. Here's an interesting fact. What you see in front in terms of the headlight design, guess what? The back side is flipped the other way. Yes, that is pretty cool, I must say. I love what they've done with the side here, the 3D effect. And what they have included in the actual frame here is the Lincoln letters located just below the light bar. On top of that, one thing you notice with this Lincoln is the fact that it has less chrome. I'm not a big fan of chrome. It makes the car look tacky. It makes it look old. This is more modern. I love this design. And of course, you get hands-free tailgate. All you have to do is just wave a little bit underneath here, and there you go. Kick option, perfect. And also, you can close it by doing exactly the same thing. Very smart. In terms of dimensions, what are we looking at? Well, the Lincoln Nautilus, the 2024 model, is actually bigger in comparison to the outgoing model. It is longer, it is wider, and taller in comparison to the 2023 model, which also means you get more cargo space. In fact, with the Premier package, you get 71.3 cubic feet of space behind the front seats, 36.4 cubic feet of space behind the rear seats, and
total passenger volume of 113.5 cubic feet of space with the Premier package. With the Reserve, which is the one that we have for today's video, you get 68.8 cubic feet of space behind the front seats, 35.2 cubic feet of space behind the rear seats, and in total of a passenger volume, you get 110.8 cubic feet of space. You can also fold the second row seats automatically with the buttons located on the left side of the vehicle.
And of course, it wouldn't be a Lincoln without the side door lock. Essentially, you put a pin in there and just throw the key inside and off you go into the water and go for a nice swim, or maybe anything else. If you're going camping, all you have to do, enter the pin, and you can walk away from the car, which I absolutely love that feature, especially when you're on your own and you just have your shorts and you decide, you know what the hell, I'm going to go for a swim. Another thing I noticed is the side mirror. If you look carefully here, this design, it is essentially the same design of the headlights. That wing style continues in here. I love the shape, the thin LED turning signal as well. But overall, this one reminds me very much of that headlight design. The new Lincoln Nautilus offers two engine options. In this case, you can get a standard 2-liter turbocharged engine or a hybrid. The standard 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine makes 250 brake horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Hybrid powertrain offers a 2-liter turbocharged hybrid engine available with all the trims, and it can achieve up to 310 brake horsepower. The hybrid motor, it is mated to a CVT transmission with a 100 kilowatts electric motor. One thing that I have to say about the 2024 model in terms of the engine options is the fact that they didn't offer the V6 twin turbo. I think that would have made this thing even more competitive. It's nice that they have a hybrid option, which means you get better fuel efficiency, but I think some customer will like a bit of power. Although the 2-liter is not a slouch, but the V6 twin turbo that it's actually offered in the Aviator, it is quite impressive. Okay, jumping into the second row. Lots of space, very roomy on the inside. Lots of headroom for me. And if you're just sitting straight, still lots of headroom. On top of that, I'm 6'2", so that should give you an idea how much space you get overall. Some of the quirks and tech features on the inside. First of all, we've got heated seats in the back for both left side and the right side. We have air vents. There is a 110 volts charging port at the bottom. In front of you, the seats in front has 2 USB-C ports located at the top, so you can plug your phone and so on. And then we have a speaker on the side here, power force from Revel Media, and the seats are nice and comfortable. With this package, we get the suede or Alcantara and perforated center seats. I love the quality interior in here. Everything you touch, it's nice. The leather, the stitching, all the little details. We have a beautiful panoramic roof all the way across, give you a bit of that interior lighting. And you can move the seat basically this way for the first one. And then you have 60-40 split. So you can fold these two together and then this one on the right side, single. I love it. It's beautiful. It's spacious. Now, let's jump into the front. Okay, let's talk about this. First of all, totally different design in comparison to the 2023 model. They've gone the other way, including a 48-inch curved display right in front of you. Then you have this in the center, which I think is about 11 to 12 inches, which is nice. That controls essentially the curved display. The curved display is not touch screen. So in case if you're trying to reach and touch stuff, that doesn't work at all. In fact, it's just there as a display. Then you have the steering wheel, which is not round anymore. This is more oval. Kind of looks like a football ball in many ways. And everything now is different here too. There's no heads-up display because you don't really need one. One thing I appreciate about this design is the fact that you still get buttons, which again, I think it's that hard line that a lot of designers either go too far into the touch screen side or just screens, or there's just too many buttons. This case is kind of like in the middle where you get enough buttons, but that again but then you have the main screen which offers everything from your climate unit and so on. We'll talk about that in a minute. Now let's start first with the driver's cockpit, what it offers. You're welcomed by this massive 48-inch screen, which again gives you a different experience, but probably wondering, that would bother me. It actually doesn't bother me. It feels like it was always there. And maybe because we're used to screens, but it doesn't feel like it's bothering me at all. Anyhow, steering wheel, beautiful finish. I love the design. It's actually grippy, and you're probably wondering too, is it easy to use? Very easy to use. I thought it would be the other way around. Next thing you need to know is the fact that these over here are essentially buttons, but they're touch to tell you what this does. And then you press it to actually use it. And then you have this portion over here in the center, which can be used to control that screen. And then on this side, it's your cruise control. And if you have BlueCruise, essentially drives itself. But you can do that, which is also shown into the screen. The steering column, of course, it is powered. You can adjust it up and down, which gives you great functionality, back and forth. And there you go. Behind, we have more controls for your windshield wipers on the side, turn your signal, and so on. And on the left side at the bottom, you have the headlights control. I love this. Easy to use, and it looks unique. In the center, we have the screen, which controls essentially the curved display. You have all these shortcuts on the left side. It has built-in Google Maps, Play Store, Google Assistant. You can actually use Google a lot in this vehicle for a lot of things because it is essentially an Android base, and you can connect your phone. If you have one of these bad boys, you can connect here and play games, which is pretty cool. Now, you're probably wondering, is that a safety problem? It's not, because it doesn't work when you're driving. It's essentially when you're parked. The climate unit, you can access it from here, which is quite nice. You can go into vehicle. Now, here's a cool thing about this vehicle. It comes with digital scent. Digital scent is essentially your interior aroma. And this pack that you see here is from Lincoln. And this one comes with 3 aromas, 3 scents. And look at that. These are installed underneath the armrest. You can install these underneath the armrest. And in this case, I'm just gonna not use it this time because maybe it's gonna go to a different owner and I don't want them to lose this experience. So I'm not going to install it. But in this case, this is what you get for your digital scent. But if you press in here, it's currently not working, but you can install 3 cartridges so that you can have different scents on the inside, which again is a great experience. Then you have your driving modes. Of course, Lincoln is known to not say sport or dynamic or any of that. They actually have their own sort of formats, their own language for different modes. You got your conserve in this case, you got our excite, so you can have an exciting experience. Then you have slippery, and then deep conditions in case if you're going to, let's say, snowy day, snowy drive. Going back, you got your traction control, valet mode, and it does come with ambient lighting. In fact, you can switch different interior lighting in this case. You can switch all these different lights. You can also increase and decrease the brightness. Absolutely love the little details. And then the last icon in here is essentially the control unit for the massive 48-inch display, but the right side. So what you see in here is what is displayed into the screen in front of you. And then you can actually move and adjust. So if you wanted the trip to be in this left side, you can do that too. And then if you want fuel economy, let's just say we're going to put it onto the right, and there you go. Now you have fuel economy on the right side of the screen. And then you have the weather. If you want the weather to be here and then you want the media, you can do that. You can work around with these icons to switch to whatever you want it to be. But let's just say you want calm. In this case, it turns off the screen completely so that you don't get bothered by that massive display, which I personally think it's pretty good and it doesn't bother me at all. And there you go. Of course, it comes with a 360 camera, but what you realize in here is the fact that it's also displayed in here, but also in the main screen in front of you. So you're getting both sides for better visibility, which I think is pretty cool. The audio system in this case, it is powered by Revel Media. It's called the Ultimate 3D Audio System, which essentially features 28 speakers. You can control the audio system through here. You have your quantum logic, you want audience, stereo, on stage, and so on. It's straight into the Revel Media. Revel Media, it is pretty amazing. Let's just play the experience. And that's it. So if you really want to experience the speakers, all you have to do, go into the system sounds, and here you go. There's also different modes. You can adjust the tones to your needs, your balance and fade. In this case, you can move the position of the audio system left and right, the usual things that you do find in other vehicles as well. Then you've got your volume settings, whether you want the notifications, phone calls, and so on. All that access is through here. Great, very useful, and also super, I have to say, super fast. The infotainment display, it's quite nice. You go into Google Maps, which has built-in connected via data, which is nice. But look at that. You go into different settings, fast and easy to use. I like the user interface because it's a new design, meaning that you don't see it in every vehicle. You want to have something that people can automatically control and use, so it doesn't make it very difficult when you get in for the first time. And that's the entire experience in the Lincoln vehicle. Underneath the screen you have your air vents, but you also have your gear knob, but in this case it's not a standard gear knob because it is the Lincoln, therefore they're continuing with that piano style gear lever, which in this case you have buttons: park, reverse, neutral, drive, and lower gear, and then in park. Now for some people that might not be their best experience or their favorite thing to do or their favorite gear knob. I think it works well, and in fact I do like this more than the previous one because they're just larger overall, so it's easy to press. Next thing is underneath there we have more buttons, which is nice. Also the main knob for the audio system, which can also be pressed to turn off. And then you have your traction control, then you have your start and stop option, you've got your hazard lights in this case, and then you have your parking sensors, and then there is a 360 camera button as well. Then you have your driving modes, and then of course for the climate unit. So you're still getting some buttons, which I think is quite nice. On top of that, if you pull this beautiful thing back, you get extra space. In this case, you've got your cup holders, there's more space here, USB-C ports and USB, and then you have a wireless charging pad, which I think is quite nice. You slide your phone in there, and now it's charging. But having said that, there is a bit of a design problem in here. Mine is a 15 Pro Max, which means it's a large screen. If I do that, it won't close completely. Like I can, but then I'll have to break the cover of my phone. Now, is that a problem? Not really. I don't really blame them, but it's something to mention, the fact that it's just that. That's the only complaint. Underneath here, where you see these handles, you actually have more space here to store stuff, which I think is quite nice. Excite mode. Come on. Nice. So let's talk about how this thing drives. But before I do that, let's try the cruise control. Here we go, and then okay, I've set the speed, lane assist is on, hands-free BlueCruise is on, and that's it. And now we can just chill. You have to keep your eyes forward, of course, but you don't have to keep your hands on the wheel at all. In fact, it's snowing out there, and this thing is working, which means the sensors are not dirty yet. They haven't gotten that snow splash yet. Let's increase the speed a little bit, and we're at the speed limit right now. And look at that. That is BlueCruise, which this one with this package, it is equipped. What it does, it works in major highways. It keeps you within the lanes to make sure that you don't bounce left and right, but it also drives itself in major highways. You can also do lane switch like I'm doing right now. Well, I'm not doing it. The car is doing it. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. For long trips, this thing will be worth every penny. That I can guarantee you. And look at that. I can talk to you guys. I have to look at the car. I have to look forward as well. But it essentially does the job for you, and it works super accurately. It's windy today. There's a bit of traffic right now. Not a lot of traffic, just enough, but it's doing the job for you. And you can see it through here. Now this is your cluster in front of you. And here we are, just doing hands-free. Let's go into the middle lane. I'm not doing anything. And that's it. Switches lanes, does that. It's comfortable inside, it's quiet, lots of visibility in the front, massive window, and same thing at the back. I can see my rear window as well, no problem. Side, it's super comfortable. Let's do conserve. We're going to conserve, save the environment. And look at that, it's brilliant. One thing that I kept thinking to myself was, does this massive screen bother me? It actually doesn't. My eyes are looking forward, not so much on the screen, but it's nice that it's there. It's actually positioned in a way that it's not an obstacle for visibility. It's essentially your heads-up display, but just a screen. I can't think of anything that bothers me about this car in terms of that driving experience. It's quiet on the inside. The ride is super comfortable. You don't hear much of that road noise, a car passing by. That's about just a little bit of a noise, and that's it. Just that. I love it. Really nice. Let's overtake this truck because it's slowing us down. Thank you, Lincoln. I'm not doing anything. It's doing itself all that work. BlueCruise, brilliantly working. Nothing so far. I keep driving. It's not showing me any indication that this thing is going to stop. In fact, I just gotta put the steering wheel right here and look at that. Another thing you're probably wondering is the steering wheel. How is it actually like using it? Well, let me put it this way. It's not like the Tesla that has no top part. It's gripping. It's actually a steering wheel. Your hands are here most of the time. So it does the job. I like it. Let's go in the middle. We don't want to be left lane campers. This is my 4th time using that lane switch, and it's doing it perfectly. Mind you, again, it's windy outside and it is snowy. I really like this thing. I like how it drives. The sitting position is perfect. There's a lot of space. You're still getting some buttons. Everything is where it should be. All the icons are here. You have your shortcuts. I think this SUV is going to be a great seller for Lincoln. And they've done a fantastic job overall with this design inside out. It stands out. And when you bring someone inside here, they're going to look at all this spaceship, because that's what this thing looks, this digital experience. And they're going to be mesmerized and just not even think that this is a Lincoln. It's very different from the Aviator, the previous Nautilus, and the Lincoln Corsair that I had recently. I think that one is like a lot of shiny things, a lot of, well, chrome inside, none of that in here, and I appreciate that. I really like this thing.
If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, and check out my other videos on my channel.